Chapter 1 of The Soul is Pitted in Another World. You are listening at FameTV.info. There was a dull pain for the first time, and the ears were noisy from far and near. Chu Yen woke slowly from a sound of unknown click or kai kai. She was tired of taking photos just now, and she lay on the dressing table in the studio for a while, but seemed to be sleeping for a long time. Otherwise the mother in front of her looked anxious, but the gap between the headaches did not miss Chu Yen. His face, alas, this makeup artist is really good. He has disappeared the crow's feet and the nose spots on his mother's eyes, and the mother wearing a costume is actually a soft and gentle lady. Without ignoring her family suit art photo coupons that she pitted from her girlfriends, regardless of the inexplicable pain in her head, Chu Yanchao's beautiful mother grinned. Done. Is it my turn? Kai Kai, are you awake? The two spoke at the same time. Chu Yan's ears were awkward, and she didn't understand what she said, but still nodded. Wake up, hey, what are you crying, mother? As soon as the words came down, the weak mother in front of her suddenly burst into tears and wept. This was a subversive to the usual behavior of her mother, who said that the image of a strong woman changed too quickly, and Chu Yen was too late to react. Petals. There was a sound of footsteps. Chu Yen just wanted to turn his head. A face suddenly squeezed in front of her. Kai Kai, you wake up. The enlarged face and deafening shout made Chu Yen, who was close at hand, shrink back, holding his heart that was fluttering, and looked at the person who suddenly popped out in resentment. Dad, why are you suddenly scaring me? When I saw the weeping mother, I immediately pulled the dad who had been walking towards the girl and walked to the side, whispering softly, Yuan Lang, Kai Kai just woke up, you must not scare her. Chu Yen was dumbfounded. Did she hear me right? Yuan Lang Kai Kai. What does it mean? What makes Chu Yen even more stunned is that my dad actually stood by, obediently listening to the lessons of adults like a child doing wrong, and muttering from time to time, Kai Kai has slept for 2 days, I want to adopt. It was not intentional just now, please. What exactly is going on? Could it be that this art photo has become a video camera? A smart and capable mother plays a weak lady, and a dad who plays back plays a stupid silly man. No, the straw mats underneath, patched quilts, leaky roofs. It looks like it's not fake. Thinking of this, a large memory in the head came overwhelmingly, and immediately drowned Chu Yan's thoughts. At this time the breeze blew across the mountain, the sky was clear. A little girl in her early 20s, sitting with her cheek on the big rock in front of the house, looked blank, and beside her, there was a tall and mighty man with a crown-like face, and he saw that the little girl next to him supported his cheeks with hands and sighed from time to time. The expressions on the face are the same, the actions are the same, and the imitation is superb, but the action rests on a young man in his 20s or two, but it is very funny. Chu Yen noticed the movements of the people around her, and couldn't help but grin, and the smile brought hurt to her head, and her smile turned into a grin. The man immediately put down his cheek. Holding hand, raised her face, and drew his mouth to her eyes. Kai Kai, blowing will not hurt. Chu Yen looked at the man in front of him in an anxious look. His eyes suddenly turned red, and the pain seemed to be unnoticeable. She pulled down his hand and sighed, I don't hurt anymore, Dad. Only then did Chu Yen fully accept the fact that she was wearing it. Chu Qin Yen, Xiaoming Kai Kai, is the name of her body. She is 10 years old this year and looks exactly like her childhood. However, this body is thin and yellow, and it is obviously malnourished. The man in front of him who was ignorant and worried was her father, Chu Huayuan, 20.6 and 16 years old. He was a general in his memory, but a defeat 10 years ago, the whole army was annihilated and he was found. By then he had lost his mind and became foolish. The woman who was washing clothes not far away was her mother. In law named Miao Danxian. She remembered that she was a lady of everybody. She was well versed in painting, calligraphy, painting, and painting. After she married her father, the two were harmonious. Sudden change of life, his husband was accused of neglecting his duties, and the family was abandoned by the family. The weak mother and daughter came with a silly husband and 2-month-old child to survive here. Ms. Qianjin became a washerwoman in Chengri Fujia mansion to support her family. A flash is 10 years, Chu Qinyan sighed heavily. If she hadn't seen it with her own eyes, she couldn't believe that the white-collar elite's mother would become a washing woman, and the dad who was a national special soldier would become demented. Just a few days ago, the original body had a dispute with the children in the same village. The few children couldn't compete with her, and they threw stones at the original body. A large bowl of stone hit her on the head. The original body fainted in the past, had been interrupted by Lang will definitely die, and then squinted to sleep, so he came over. She thought that if it weren't for pulling the parents to take art photos while taking annual leave, I would not have encountered such a thrilling scene when she woke up. Forget it, it's safe when it comes. Besides, their parents are still their own parents. Although there is something wrong, it's always right to return to people. Maybe God thinks that mom and dad haven't had much time with themselves for so many years, so let their family travel to the past and enjoy the joy of heaven. Although the joy of heaven may seem a little sad, but she is in no hurry. The minds of the 21st century college students in her new era are not convinced of the legendary farming life. Chu Qinyan looked at himself with short hands and short feet. His body was weak, but as long as he was nurtured, he could still break out of the world. So Chu Qinyan stood up with a smile, took Fan Quan and made a beautiful arc of cheering in the air. I believe she will take the beautiful mother and her cute dad to the happy and well-off avenue of stars. Just then, a scream came from a distance. Kai Kai, Kai Kai, your father chased my chicken and duck again. Kai Kai seems to call her. Chu Qinyan stiffened her neck and turned to the right, and saw an ant in common clothing wailing at her, looking in the direction of her rushing to the ground. Her dad is chasing people's chickens, ducks running around the field. Immediately, the passionate blood slammed in his chest. That it seems that the dream is really full, but the reality is really skinny. It's just that she's not thinking about a better future now. The urgent task is to chase the father who is chasing the chickens and ducks. Dad, you come back. Chu Qinyan stepped on his leg, chasing after him without tears. So there was this scene in the field. Chu's father chased his chickens and ducks. Chu Qinyan chased his father. The dog barked and the chickens mingled, the man working from the field with a hoe, the woman standing at the door with a dustpan, and looked at the situation. I couldn't help laughing, and I couldn't help but laugh. Listen to the full novel at FameTV.info, direct link in the description.